Howdy y'all, welcome back to Cam Shack Productions. Please, before you click off this video, realize that this is one of the most important things that people just, I think, take for granted, and that is your first aid kit. You can see that I take first aid really seriously. I mean, I have so many different kits, and if the only thing you get out of this video is to go pick up just a store-bought regular something that you could get at Walmart or something like that, at least have this. I, however, think that first aid is something that you should really take seriously. So I have decked out my hiking kit. And my first aid kit is over a pound. It is 1.26 pounds. It is 20.5 ounces, and it is 0.58 kilograms. So this is definitely not light. And you know, you're gonna have all those ultralight people out there that are like, I have a couple Band-Aids, and you know what? If you wanna go with something like this, at least you have something. But I think that first aid is much more important, especially since I do a lot of the stuff that I'm out there doing all on my own. So I carry a pretty extensive first aid kit, and today I kind of want to walk you through what I have in my backpacker or hiking first aid kit. Anytime I'm leaving the car, this thing is in my bag. It goes with me on every backpack trip, on every hike. I don't sacrifice anything to make sure that I have this. So we're going to actually go through it. And as you can see, I mean, I have just about everything that you could possibly need for first aid. This is my home kit. This is also a first aid kit that I keep in my house. Inside of my Nissan, I have a first aid kit in the Xterra first aid kit holder. If you're an Xterra person, you know what I'm talking about. But I also have a full-on trauma kit that has everything I need that you can just rip off my MOLLE panel and run out with. If that's something you're interested in, leave me a comment and I'll show you guys what I keep in those kits, because they're basically designed to save somebody's life if they get in like a rollover crash. This is designed to keep you safe and keep you comfortable while you're out in the backcountry. And before I dive into this thing, I just want you to know, like, this is my wife's first aid kit that she carries with her. You know, it's got Band-Aids, it's got antiseptic, it's got a blood stop clot material inside of there. This is something that I think, you know, it doesn't have to be massive, but this has enough to be able to make sure that you're taken care of. My wife is also Wilderness Outdoor First Aid certified. So she has a lot of skills that, you know, if you don't have that certification, you're gonna need some of the gear. So let's dive into my first aid kit. And the very first thing you're gonna see is that I have a whistle. If you are hurt, blowing a whistle is way easier than trying to yell and scream. You know, that takes a lot out of you. And if you have broken ribs or something like that, so this is always attached to my first aid kit. I have them, I buy whistles like crazy. Fox 40, baby. Doesn't get any better. So let's actually get into what's inside of this kit, okay? All right, so you can see that this thing is pretty packed. Again, the other thing that I think you got to really remember is to make sure that you're going through your first aid kit on a regular basis and getting rid of old meds, changing out anything that could be going bad or has gotten wet, anything like that. Just go through it. But right here, what I have is, these are iodine tablets. I have some gauze. I have some medical tape. I do have an eye wash. I got habanero in my eye on a backpacking trip once and didn't have anything to rinse my eye out with. I'll never go without that again. So I know it's excessive, but I just carry this thing. There's also rubber gloves. I also keep KT Band-Aids. These things are super duper crucial and they stick like crazy. They're not actually a Band-Aid, they're a piece of tape. And if you deal with blisters in any way, shape or form, go on Amazon, pick up some KT tape. You can either get it in a roll or like these little individual bandage type things. Here, I'll show you what I mean. They basically look like a little Band-Aid. And it is super duper sticky stuff. You can put this on a blister and leave it on the entire trip and it'll stay stuck to you, even if you're rolling through water and things like that. I have some Teflon tape. So this is like super stuff that is really designed to kind of deal with if I have a major cut or I'm bleeding really bad. I could use this if I rip open some gear, if I rip my bag, anything like that. And you'll see I carry quite a bit of this because I think it's really, really good tape. I also keep a sewing kit. And inside of here, I have some super glue. I have some matches, and I have a needle, and I have a bunch of different thread and buttons, but you cannot go wrong with having a sewing kit. You know, I think I got this. Yeah, this is something that I picked up from work back in the day. It was like a giveaway when we signed up for our health insurance. But if you need to give yourself stitches, this and a little bit of dental floss, you can actually stitch yourself up if you had to. Again, worst case scenario, right? And then just in the bottom of that, I have my rubber gloves. So in the middle here, you can see this is where I keep my medications. And I have allergy meds, Imodium in there. Definitely make sure you have the little green pill if you're going backpacking. I have some aspirin. I have some higher pain medications in case somebody falls and breaks their leg. I could throw them this and be like, okay, I'll be back in 24 hours. And they would be able to at least keep themselves pain-free with just this little container. The other thing that I always keep inside of my first aid kit, again, you can see I like little bags, little things like that. I have a lighter. You can see that that lighter is wrapped with duct tape and dental floss. Dental floss can sew up bags. It can do all kinds of awesome stuff. It's really strong. It can also be used for suture material, and duct tape is a great fire starter and always something that you should have. Duct tape, just, you can't go wrong with it. I also keep, this is blood clot. We usually keep this just in case our dog like rips a dew claw or something like that. But this is a stop clot. So if you're bleeding and you put this on you, it'll actually hopefully make that blood clot up. And you can see, again, wrapped it in duct tape. If I can wrap it, I'm going to wrap it. In here, I have a little note that says, if you find my body, please call my wife. And that's no joke. That's actually what that thing says. Yes, I keep a tampon. This thing is the most absorbent, super handy. You know, think about if you land on a stick or something and it punctures you, or your trekking pole, which happens a lot to people, you can actually take this, you can insert it in that hole, it will expand, you can tape it up, cover it up, and you can probably stop the bleeding with something as simple as a tampon. I know that's crazy, right? I also have in here another tampon, the applicator piece. So if I need to push that in, I can. This also works really good as like basically a fire blower. So if you need to blow and you're hurt, you can use this to amplify your breath and get a really streamline. And I keep 3 AAA batteries in there. That's what my headlamp takes. And again, this is some of that same Teflon super tough tape that I just keep with me in, like I said, in abundance, because I don't think you can ever have enough of this. Clippers, toenail clippers, fingernail clippers. Make sure you have clippers so that if your feet are really in trouble, you can actually solve it with something super simple. This is fire starter. Again, my first aid kit is all kinds of stuff, and it's a way to keep me alive if I need it. So I keep some fire starter in there, and it's just really simple. And I just keep it wrapped up in here. I have a bunch of different antiseptic wipes. And safety pins. You can never have enough safety pins. They, again, can come in super duper handy. I have some actual medical scissors. I would recommend going and picking up a pair of these. You can get them at Walmart, something like that, but really get a decent pair because you're going to need them. Old school signal mirror. Again, just in case. And I know there's a whole lot of people that are doing cool stuff with like shining knives and things like that to make cool signal mirrors, but I figured just having this is a solid. And then on this side over here, I basically just have a bunch of Band-Aids and a bunch of different gauze. So that thing, like I said, goes with me every single time I go someplace. Something else that I also think of as basically part of my first aid kit is paracord. If you need to tie splint, this stuff comes in so handy and it's so light. So these 2 things are always just tossed in my bag all the time, thrown in. This is my super duper medical kit though that I keep inside of my camping totes. So in case somebody around camp really hurts themselves or does some major damage, I have a lot of really crazy stuff in here, including like a scalpel kit and things like that. One of the other piece of advice that I have for you is if you want, take a piece of saran wrap, clean wrap. big enough to cover your chest and somebody else's. Take that, fold it up into a small piece, and then put it in a Ziploc and put that inside of your first aid kit. It can be used as kind of a sucking chest seal if you really needed to. Another really great tip, and this I actually keep in my Nissan all the time, is I have a swim cap. Swim caps can be used as a tourniquet. They are super stretchy. They are super duper. I mean, they're really, really handy. I know it sounds crazy, but you could cut that thing up and use it in all kinds of ways, including, again, sucking chest wound kind of thing. It would do a lot. So please, before you go out in the backcountry, before you go hiking, before you go for a day hike, people get lost, people get hurt, people get turned around all the time. And you need to make sure that you have a way to protect yourself. Like I said, I'm out on my own all the time. I mean, you know, this is something else that I carry. This is my like survival EDC kit that goes with me when I hike. But I have to be able to make sure that if I fall and hurt myself and break my leg, I can stay comfortable, I can stay safe until I either use my satellite beacon to get help or somebody comes along the trail that can help me. So really, when it comes to super important things, I think your first aid kit is something that you should not skimp out on. Like I said, if you need to, just at least go pick up one of these and carry this with you. It's got bandages, it's got triangle bandages, but even if you have all of this stuff and you have no idea how to use it, it doesn't do you any good. So go online, watch some first aid videos. If you guys want to see me kind of run through a first aid idea or a scenario where, you know, you hurt yourself and this is what I would do if I broke my leg on a hike or on a backpack trip, something like that, leave a comment down below. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll do something like that. But don't skimp on your first aid kit. And even if you go pick up a nice first aid kit that's backpacking, really go through it. Don't just throw it in unopened and not know what's in there. Go through it, make sure you have everything you need, make sure you know what to use, and then go through and add those extras. You know, iodine tablets don't come inside of this kit. The tape stuff doesn't come inside of this kit. Tampons and fingernail clippers don't come inside of this kit. Sewing, I mean, there's so many things that I've added and they're not expensive. You know, your initial first aid kit might be a little bit, but everything else after that is really, you know, just kind of thinking through, going through your first aid stuff and being like, I have 11 different types of medical scissors and I have clamps and, you know, I have tweezers and everything like that. So really, go put together your first aid kit before you go for your next hike, before you go for your next backpack, before you go for your next camping trip. And like I said, if you want to see what I have in my car, leave a comment, let me know down below. Y'all, I really appreciate you watching to this point. If you did get something out of this video and you enjoyed it, please go down, hit the like button. If you're feeling super generous, subscribe. Otherwise, I will see you all back in the next video. All right, be well, my friends. All right, so this kit was in my garage. This kit was in my garage. This kit's in my wife. This is in my camp bin. This is in my front room, not to mention all the other first aid kits I have. Yeah, I take first aid seriously. It's one of those things where you don't want to screw around. Stay safe out there, people.